Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of The Furniture with me, Daniel. It's Season 2, Episode 1, and today we look at our summer transfer business before playing our first game in the National League against Aldershot at home. Since the last episode, I'm sure you'll know I've been busy off camera, trying to work in the summer transfer window to prepare this club back for life in the National League again. We managed to get promotion at the first attempt last season, and now I'm really looking forward to testing my team in this league. I really think we can start to challenge for a playoff place. If we go and look at the pre-season predictions, you'll start to see why. If we go and have a look at the National League, let's get to the season preview. We're actually predicted to finish 4th now. When the predictions came out, it was 10th, but we've managed to bring in a few more players, so we're actually expected to finish in the top half and compete for a playoff place this season. There's only one position where I haven't managed to sign the player I want to make the team probably perfect for what I would have wanted this season. And that player will become apparent in just a couple of seconds' times. If we go to our transfer, you can see Alex Bass is the one we haven't been able to get in. Portsmouth have got 4 first-team goalkeepers at the club. He's not on the loan list, and as a result, we have to wait patiently. We do still have Billy O'Brien after getting him a year extension last year, so we're not too worried, but we do miss his traits of the long throw, starting counter-attacks quickly, which would have been so crucial in this division this season, especially with some of the young players we've brought in. But let's not dwell on the one we haven't quite got yet. Let's worry about the changes we have made. So if we go to our release players first, we'll look at the players that have left the club. Obviously, Asa Hall, the man who sort of proves that episode 1 of a season doesn't tell you how it's going to go. We were talking about him being a key player on and off the pitch last year. Injuries restricted him to just 1 sub appearance and he decided to retire at the end of the campaign. So some of the players I highlight in this episode that we've brought in this summer might end up going the same way, but hopefully that won't be the case. We've also let a few of the rotational squad players, the backups, go, and ones who were in the reserves and only made the odd appearance in the FA Trophy. So obviously names you'll recognise from the first team were Wassey, who was very unlucky with injuries, Reed Banton, Liam Davis, who actually got Player of the Year last season, Carl Cameron and Sammy Inabi. We also had a couple of others go out from the under-18s, who were also on £400 a week, so it's important that we've reduced the wage bill as well. Liam Davis we were trying to keep as a scout, but unfortunately wanted £1,000 a week, and you can't afford that for staff at this level, so we had to let him leave the club entirely. But we did bring a few players in and managed to sell a few on as well. So if we go and look at the proper transfers now, we've got 3 out on loan. One of them's a new signing in Ethan Warnock. 2 of them you'll recognise from last year, Ben Winter and Milan Butterfield. And 1 sale, which is Carl Stewart to Maidstone. A few £1,000s. And to be honest, he wanted out. He was causing a bit of trouble off the pitch towards the end of the last episode. And him and Butterfield were our 2nd and 3rd highest paid players. So to get them out of the club is absolutely brilliant for us, when they wouldn't have even featured this season. But as you can see, there's a lot of ins. Obviously, we've got Matt Foy, who was a key player last year. His loan was extended before he left the club. So as a result, he doesn't show up on this page, but everyone else is. We've got Sam Kelly, who we mentioned before in detail, so we'll just quickly remind you. He's a left winger with 3.5-star ability and 3.5-star potential. And at 25, he's going to be a very solid player for us at this level. The next one along was the first of the signings since we went off camera. Reece Williams, probably one of the ones I'm most excited about, an 18-year-old centre-half who was released by Liverpool. He's our highest paid player at the club, the only player to breach £1,000 a week. He's on a 3-year deal as a 4-star player with 5-star potential. He's a quick centre-half, and he's going to go into that left centre-half position where Sendles White was. And most importantly for that, with Sendles White getting 6 goals, he's got a jumping reach of 19 and he's 6'6". So I really think he's going to be able to get a few goals for us from set pieces this year. And as you can see from the dynamics, we've also promised him that not this season, but the following one, we'll get promotion to League 2. He's got a release clause if not, but even then it'll bring us a few £100,000. I think it's about 240. So a brilliant signing for us, and we're delighted to have him on board alongside Sokolik, who was so good for us last season. Next along the list is Darren White, a man we had on loan towards the end of last year. We said we wanted to keep him all Long and preferably him. Quite simply, he wanted the least money of the 2. He's slightly better than Sam Long was. And he's got more experience. He's a New Zealand international. So we're very happy to have him on board too. 3.5-star ability. And again, at this level with the squad improvements, that's great for us. We've got Ethan Warnock, who we've loaned out. Very simply, we've signed him and one other player just because they'll take £160 a week, the lowest contract. He was going to be our backup left back, but we've now got someone from our senior affiliate Sunderland, which pushes him down to 3rd choice. So we loaned him out to Nuneaton. but 2.5-star ability already, and he's got big potential, so we'll just see if he develops, and if not, we've not really lost anything, as Nuneaton are paying his wages this year. Next along the list, we've got Jake Scrimshaw. Now, this is a player I'm quite excited about too. He's coming in as our 3rd or 4th choice striker. He's sort of replacing that role that we lost Jamie Reid from. But he's 18 years old. He's got 3-star ability and 4.5-star potential. He's quick, he's strong, he's a good finisher with good composure. And I could honestly see him overtaking Kennedy this season at some point. But Kennedy will obviously be loyal to at first because he was so good for us last season. But cracking potential again, and another one that we've got on a multi-year contract. As we keep going down the list, we've got Jack Barthram, a right back who's going to come in as the backup. It's just because Sam Long wanted so much money we couldn't actually get him in. He's another attacking fullback that fits into the style we play. 2.5-star ability with 3.5-star potential. A fairly able backup for Darren White. He's not that good defensively, but he's very good getting forward and he works hard. We've got him on some training to work on his defensive positioning, and hopefully from there he'll be a solid player at this level. He's been playing for Barrow for a year or two, the last 2 seasons in the National League, and he's done alright, so he'll be a perfectly able deputy for us, and on a relatively good contract too. I know these transfers will take a while to go through, but for me it's my favourite part of the season, and I always want to share it in greater detail. There's nothing more exciting in Football Manager than when you've had a really good transfer window. And considering this is the only one of my 2 saves where I'm actually in charge of the transfers, I have to make the most of the good work we get to do. Amir Berkovic is a player that one of our scouts brought to us, recommended for us to sign him. 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential. Very similar level of ability to Kelly, but a bit of pace off the wing. Also got good finishing ability and can play up front as well. A natural left footer, and he'll rotate with Kelly where need be. We'll certainly give him a chance in the cup competitions, and if he proves himself, we've got another good winger who can come in. Don't forget, as we're going along here, all of these players have come up in scout reports or news items and things like that. We don't go using the player search screen or the staff search screen. So when you look at the end of the summer and you see we've got a hole in 1 or 2 positions, that'll be why. We can't just go to the search screen, we've got to wait for the right options to come up. The only other thing we can use is our Director of Football recommendations, but our Director of Football's ones haven't been very good, which is why we haven't used them this summer. We've also got this lad, another one who's agreed to sign for £160 a week, and he's one who probably shouldn't have for the quality he's got. He doesn't look all that at the moment because he's not really developed mentally, but he's an extremely versatile player who's very quick. He's a good 3-star player in midfield. He's played for the Nigeria under-20s. He can pass, he's got good technique, and he's fairly good physically. So I think he'll develop well as the 4th choice player. We've already got him in a mentoring group, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And I'd like to think in a year's time he might have improved quite significantly. We'll certainly give him a chance in the FA Trophy if nothing else. And the next one along the list is Cairo Edwards-John, on loan from Reading. We're sorting out the right wing this time. We did manage to keep Bobson Ball in the end for not much of a wage rise, but he's only 2.5-star ability. So when this guy came up just 2 weeks or so before the season, we knew we had to get him in. 3.5-star ability with 5-star potential, yet to play a professional game in the leagues, but I have no doubt that he'll be first choice for us this year, and the only thing that may let him down is his endurance and fitness. We've got him working on his stamina and natural fitness, but there's not too much you can do about it. We just have to wait and see if he progresses in that regard. But hopefully, if he can only play 1 game a week, he'll be very good at it. That's also reminded me of one shock I've got coming up, more on the coaching side of things, and something I wasn't particularly happy about, but we'll come to that in a minute. Let's finish off the signings first. A couple more loans, this time from parent club Sunderland. Denver Hume, a 4-star current ability left back with 5-star potential. The natural replacement for Ryan Dixon on that left wing. We've kept Dixon at the club as a backup player and more of a mentor off the pitch. But this guy's going to be the first choice fullback. Again, likes to get forward, very quick, good stamina, and he's very good mentally as well, as you'd expect from a player at a bigger club. He played first choice for Ebbsfleet last season in this division, so he'll be a very good signing for us too. The other loan signing from Sunderland needs no introduction, and it gives me the one chance I've got to have a little complaint about the Torquay fans on this game. When he came in, they weren't that happy with his signing and thought he'd be an okay backup option. Now, he's a 4.5-star current ability player with 5-star potential. He's easily League One ability, and I've not seen a better player at our club in the time we've been here. He's got all the physical attributes and the mentality. He's a determined young lad. He's got a great engine. And in addition to that, unlike some of the other players at the club, he's got the good technical ability as well. So I'm not quite sure why they think he's going to be a backup option. but he did well for us at the end of last season. He even played a couple of times for Sunderland, and we're going to make sure we take full advantage of having him this year. And when that signing came through about a week ago, it had me really delighted because he'd been rejecting us for a few occasions beforehand due to a lack of squad depth. But as we got the others in, particularly once Denver Hume was over the line, he agreed to come in. And I really think it's going to be the difference between a top half finish and sneaking into the playoffs. So I'm really excited about this guy, and I hope he'll come to form this season and be a key player for us. The next one needs no introduction either. Brad Walker, a man who we tried to sign on a permanent in the summer. He rejected us for Lincoln, and you can only say fair enough because I think they went up, did they? They did. They're in League One now, so he had to accept that. But they put him straight on the loan list, and we've managed to poach and get him in. We did look at a lad from Sheffield Wednesday who would have been a good signing, probably slightly better in terms of current ability, but on that instance he was a technically good player. Brad Walker we like because he's physical and he's very strong mentally. He also arrives late in the opponent's area, which works perfect for the way we play with our central midfield. He was absolutely superb for us last season and will certainly be involved in the first choice squad again this year. It means we've got 3 brilliant central midfielders with Payne and Mumba alongside. 2 of them will play each week, and it means Ollie Inca's got some great mentors ahead of him. And one more since then, Harrison Devine. This is just because we've not been able to get Bass over the line yet. I'm still confident we will. He's just a 2-star ability goalkeeper. Again, he signed for £160 a week. And if we can get another goalkeeper in, Bass or someone of a similar quality, he'll go straight out on loan. But for now, that's all good news, and we've got a squad that we're really happy with going into this season, bar possibly 1 goalkeeper and 1 centre-half. But now on to the shock that I've just remembered. For our youth staff, we always get our director of football in charge of hiring and firing, and he brought one in this summer who I wasn't particularly happy with. For any of you who are following my other story, the head coach, you'll know I had a particular fallout with my man at Hemel Hempstead, and he's been brought into the under-18s coaching team. On this save, he is a very good coach to be fair to him, but hopefully he won't cause a revolt against me. His name is Darren Ward, the Hemel Hempstead centre-half who complained he wasn't playing. As you can see, he's a very solid coach at this level, but I'm not particularly happy to see his face again, even though it is in an alternate reality. So we'll keep a very close eye on him, and as I'm in charge of the contracts and transfers, he'll be straight out if he causes any trouble. But that's a small thing to worry about in a summer that's been absolutely magnificent across the board. We have no complaints about where we stand going into the first day of the season. We've even managed to fix our finances slightly due to the sales of season tickets and a couple of extra sponsorship deals, as well as the money coming in from Sunderland. We're down to 150,000 for our debt now. It was about 420 when the season finished. And perhaps most importantly, if we go back to the transfer screen, we're nearly 12,000 under our wage budget, which is absolutely brilliant for us. And to be fair, last year we were losing about £50,000-60,000 a month. And that's that wage budget there. That's going to be £50,000 a month, and it could keep us on an even keel across the season. We also set the lower cups budget because we're not too worried about the FA Trophy or FA Cup this year. It's all about making sure we have a good solid season in the National League and maybe even push a surprise playoff place. Not a surprise to the media, but would certainly be a surprise to me. So even though we've signed quite a few players, if we go and look at the squad in full, we've got a lot of young players at the club who are sort of understudies to the key men who were here last year to try and make sure that first 11's got a lot of familiarity in it. So we've still got Foy and Kennedy up front. We've still got Sokolic and Darren White in the defence. There's still Jack Payne and Mumba who finished the season in central midfield. And if we could sign Bass, he'd be in there as well. But we've still got Billy O'Brien from last year too. So the spine of the team is very similar. And the only reason Sendles White isn't in the squad today is due to injury. Otherwise, we've done exactly what we said we wanted to this summer. We've kept all of the key players we wanted to in the important areas of the pitch, and we've added a bit of flair and quality and some good youth prospects out wide, which is all that we wanted to do. I'm absolutely delighted with where this squad stands, and I hope that over a course of a season we can really build and improve as we go on. And if we get another promotion, there's no reason that someone like Hume or Mumba wouldn't stay in League 2 and give us an almost certain chance of staying up the first year. But I may be getting a bit ahead of myself for now. Let's just worry about getting safety first, and then we'll work our way up the table as the season goes on. But it's safe to say, and I'm sure you can tell, there haven't been many more transfer windows I've been more excited about in recent editions of Football Manager. We've got a quick look at the mentoring groups to go through. We've set up 3 already with a lot of people in. But let's get into the first game of the season. We're playing Aldershot at home. I have no idea how they got on last season. Let's go and have a look at that first. The most important thing is to know what sort of opposition we're coming up against. They finished 4th last year. Ebbsfleet did fall away in the end and finished in the top half. But Aldershot came 4th, so we know this is going to be one of the toughest tests we'll get all season. It's a very even game in terms of odds. And we're expecting around 3,000 through the gate today, which is a really good turnout. We averaged just over 2 last year. As I mentioned, we've kept little bits of experience in and around the squad, which means our lineup for today is Billy O'Brien in goal. Fullbacks are Human White with Williams and Sokolik in the middle. Sokolik's not quite fit yet. We've got Brad Walker, who's deputising as the backup centre-half at the moment, just until we can get another one across the line. Bar trying to sign Bassett, it's the only other position I think we need a player. We've got a couple of youngsters on trial, and we're trying to get one on a loan for 3 months just to cover us in between. So hopefully that'll be sorted by the next episode. We've got Kelly and Edwards-John on the wings, with Payne and Mumba continuing in the middle as they were last season, and Foy and Kennedy, the deadly duo up front. I'm sure they know each other well enough by now, and hopefully that'll show as we start the National League season. A couple of familiar faces in Walker and Dixon on the bench, alongside new boys Scrimshaw, Berkowitz and Ollie Inca, purely because we've got a couple of injuries, most notably to Sendles White, who was a key man last year. We've still got a couple of the other old boys in the squad. Balling we've mentioned, O'Sullivan we've also mentioned, and Ruari Keating, who's just dropped behind Scrimshaw as 4th choice now, but will still have a role to play during the season. Let's get into the first game and see how we get on. Our tactics almost identical, we haven't changed much at all. There's some squad numbers to be given out, so we'll do those automatically. I'm not sure if Dixon's number's available, it's not. The only thing I'm going to do is swap Walker and Mumba, because I want Mumba to have a key role at the club. Let's get into the game and see if we can pull off a shock against one of the promotion favourites last season. Now we're in the higher league, we're going to see some more of the exotic formations. No bog standard British 4-4-2 today. They're playing a 4-3-3, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it. We're going to tell them to do it for the fans, and we're going to get into it and get a good gauge today of how we're going to perform this season, because we really have no idea in the grand scheme of things. We just know we're excited based on the squad we've got. But the early possessions with us on the left with Kelly. Kelly's going down the wing to take on his man. Crosses for Foy. It's just gone over him, but he's going to get on the end of it still. Cuts it back to John. Into Kennedy 6 yards out. But it was a last-ditch challenge, and the ball had been cleared for a throw-in. 5 minutes in, it's Aldershot with a goal kick. Long punt down the field towards the striker, but Williams heads it away. He's going to be a man mounting at the back there alongside Sokolik. Kelly's got to the byline on the left, crosses, but his head's away by Wiseman. Kelly again with the second delivery. Mumba's in the box, but doesn't get there. Payne on the edge of the box with a shot, and it's gone just over, and the highlight ends at 0-0. We've absolutely dominated this game, and I'm really excited about what we could do this season. Kennedy gets the ball back to Kelly. Hume with the cross in, headed away as far as Payne. Payne finds Mumba 25 yards out. Payne switches it to Kelly again on the left. We're causing a lot of trouble on the wings with our fullbacks. In towards Foy, and he heads it in the corner. Hume, the loan signing from Sunderland, continuing where Ryan Dixon left off last year. And with 20 minutes gone, we're 1-0 up. And there is no one on earth who can say that wasn't deserved. Kelly's bringing the ball down the left again. Beats the man again into Foy, headed away. Payne on the edge tries to shoot, but that is wild. Absolutely wild. Nearly went over the stadium. But with 25 minutes gone, we've dominated and it's 1-0. But now we're seeing Aldershot's first attack of the match. We're not though, it's blocked away and Kelly puts Kennedy in one-on-one. 8 yards out, his shot's a bit wide and it's straight at the keeper. Foy's got a chance to deliver again, but he wins a corner kick off the fullback. This has been absolutely brilliant. Aldershot have had no possession, no shots, none on target. We've been absolutely all over them. Kennedy gets it wide to White again into Kelly. Kelly gets the ball across the box to Mumba. Tipped wide by Cole, and it's still 1-0. But how it's only 1, I don't know. I hope we don't live to regret this because we have been absolutely fantastic. White's ball in's too close and it's headed away. Edwards-John on the edge, puts it into the bottom corner. A wonderful finish followed by an acrobatic celebration. And with just under half an hour gone, we're deservedly 2-0 up. What a performance it's been. The only slight shadow is that Barley Mumba's got an injury now, which could harm us, and they're in behind for their first chance of the match. They've hit the post and White clears away. Wasn't convinced by the goalkeeping there, but we know we're going to have to take Mumba off at half-time. Edwards-John back to Mumba himself, forces another good save from the keeper. The injury didn't harm him there. It's half-time. It's been absolutely brilliant. 14 shots to 3, 7 to 1 on target and 60% possession. The only problem is that Mumba's picked up a calf strain. We will take him off, but he'll probably be out for a couple of weeks as well. We'll just tell him to keep it going because they can't do much better than they have there. We'll give Mumba a rest for Brad Walker. That's the benefit of getting great players in on loan. We've got so many of them with talent now. We're going to leave Walker in the box-to-box, actually, because he likes to arrive late in the opposition area, and that's a good thing for us to have. We'll keep it at that for now, but 2-0 at half-time, and we just want exactly the same again. Akyapong on the right, left-hand side for Aldershot, headed away by Sokolik. Walker clears long on the highlight ends, and that's about the most we've seen from them, bar that one shot off the post. 10 minutes into the half, not even 10 minutes, Brilly O'Brien with the long clearance, headed away by Aldershot, and they're just starting to get a bit more possession in this half. They're getting in behind a bit easily there with Simons. He's got a man to cut it back to in Kinsella. Kinsella's going to try and deliver surely. He goes back to McDonnell. McDonnell out again, but Edwards-John intercepts. Long ball forward that Foy can't get on the end of it, and White's forced to head away. But it is an Aldershot attack that continues to go on now. They haven't looked too threatening yet, but it's still going. Gallagher gets the ball into McDonnell. Back to Gallagher again. They're just keeping possession down that left flank now, but Sokolik's going to mop up and clear long. But again, it only goes 40 yards and it's straight to them again. McDonnell 25 yards out, finds Simons into Fenelon, Simons the second time and it deflects in. A very unfortunate goal to concede. But it has been coming in this second half. We've not quite been at the same level. And unfortunately, it does look like they're getting back into the game. The presence of Mumba being missed in the middle. Edwards-John, who's had a brilliant game on the right, delivers a ball into Kennedy. But his header straight at the keeper. He really could have done better with that one and put us back 2 goals ahead. Nearly an hour gone and we're still a goal up. We're into the final quarter now as the game's just starting to die down a bit. We're still 2-1 up. We've still got the possession on the right with Edwards-John. He finds Darren White. White delivers to Walker. What a finish that is. Smacks the underside of the bar and hits the line. I thought we were going to ruin not having VAR and goal line technology there, but it did bounce in eventually. And what an emphatic finish from the substitute. And there you go. If Mumba's out for a couple of weeks, Walker's happy to help. Sokolik heads the ball away. We were only recommended to play him for 25 minutes, but with Walker in midfield, I've got no sub now. We are going to make one more change at the moment. Kennedy's looking complacent, so we're going to give the youngster Scrimshaw a chance. He is marked as a pressing forward more than an advanced player, but looking at his stats, I can't see why that's the case. He seems to have everything for an advanced forward, but if we need to switch him over, I guess we can. We've got Foy who's good enough in the advanced role, and we're just going to do it to keep him happy for now. We're going to give it 5 minutes and then hopefully bring on Ollie Inker as well. We did have the option to bring on Berkovitz, but I'd rather bring on our own youngsters, and Berkovitz can start some games later on. Wiseman with the throw on the right to Fenelon. Fenelon back to McDonnell on the edge of the box. His cross is blocked. His shot's blocked, sorry. And O'Brien comfortably holds as it goes straight into him. We've got 5 minutes to go. We'll just see out this highlight. O'Brien with a long clearance down the right towards Edwards-John, who brings it down brilliantly. Gets the cross into Scrimshaw. And on his debut, he scores to make it 4. And now we can bring on Ollie Inker. Jack Payne's going to be the man to make way. We couldn't be happier with his start to the season. He is good in the deep line role as well. We're just going to put him to defend for now. Just because with 5 minutes to go, we've got no need to take any risks. This has been one of the most exciting and brilliant games I've seen on Football Manager this year. It's one where I've finally seen our team play the exact way I want them to. We're playing on wing play, we're playing with a standard mentality, we're comfortably defending, then every time we get the ball, the overlapping fullbacks are causing chaos. It's been brilliant. Edwards-John on the right again, finds Scrimshaw, he nearly scored again. It just hit the side netting on its way wide. But what a fantastic performance. Edwards-John on the right. I know Bobson Balling did a good job for us last year, but Edwards-John looks like he's going to be one hell of a step up this season. And going into stoppage time at 4-1, I could not be a much happier man if I tried. The cross is in from Aldershot, which Williams heads away. He's been very good on his debut too. Sokolik's made it through 90 minutes, which is great for us. It's just that Mumba injury which is going to be a concern. It shouldn't be a long one, just a couple of weeks for a muscle strain. But we've got one more chance on the counter here with Walker. Gets it out to Scrimshaw on the right flank. He's got Edwards trying to run off him, but he's lost the ball. He wins it back again though. Great work from the man, but unfortunately Aldershot do clear it eventually. White hoofs it back into the box, which Wiseman clears, and we're going to see it out comfortably here. Aldershot aren't really getting forward too much. They're in behind with Simons now, and O'Brien makes a fantastic save. He must have heard me saying the only man I want to sign is Bass, and he says, no, I'm going to be your first choice this season. This has been a brilliant performance. McClure's bringing it forward for them again, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to get 3 goals in a minute. We've won 4-1. It's not the fact that we've beaten a side who finished 4th last year. It's that we've been so emphatic and dominant. And even if they do score here, I'll still be happy. They haven't, and Walker clears in the end. And the whistle's about to go. A fantastic performance from Torquay United. And if there's 1,000 more people in than the end of last season, I'd like to think they're all going to stay after this. Because you can't be much more entertained than they have been here. It's out for a goal kick. And the whistle will surely go once that's taken. There it is. We've won the game 4-1, and I just can't tell you how happy I am about that. I said in response to one of the comments at the end of the last episode that I had a sneaky suspicion we might be able to carry on and make it back-to-back promotions this year. I didn't want to say it too loudly because I was a bit worried I'd get scrutinised for it and that we wouldn't be able to live up to it. Maybe I was just overestimating people. But that performance proves to me that we have got all the qualities needed to be a top 7 side this year. We played the team that finished 4th and just wiped the floor with them, despite having a couple of players out and one signing we still want to complete. As a result, we're obviously right up there after the first game. We'll very quickly see what they've said about the game. Quality of possession, that's all that matters. We're not here to dominate possession, we're here to dominate chances. Barley Mumba's out for 5 weeks. That's a little bit worse than I thought it was going to be. So we're going to be missing him for a month, which will be a struggle for us. There's a few other loan players that we can get in for 3 months. So I might have a look at one of them just for now. Especially with the need to play Walker at centre-half sometimes. Scrimshaw made his professional debut. Kelly Williams and Ollie Inkrall made their debuts for the club too. All of them did brilliantly. And Edwards John, he was absolutely fantastic and we're going to give him some praise. We'll praise his last game. He created so many chances. I don't know how many assists he got in the end. Let's look. Only 1 assist, but 5 key passes and a goal as well. Absolutely brilliant performance from the young lad. And I'm so excited for this season. Although I'm sure you've been able to tell that for the last 25 minutes or so. If we have a quick look at the schedule for when we're going to come back next, there's a few big games in this league, as there always are. I did like the look of the Chesterfield one, but it does seem a little bit too soon at the moment. But then we have got Dover as well, who we played with in last year's Football Manager and the head coach. So that would be nice to come back to. As a result, that is likely to be our next episode. It may change beforehand, but as it is, we're planning to come back for Chesterfield and Dover, and hopefully we'll have that transfer news with Alex Bass by then. But that will be all for this first episode from the second season. Let me know in the comments what you think of our summer signings and whether you think I'm too excited or whether we really can be a top 7 side this season. If you did enjoy the video, please add a thumbs up to it. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content from this story part of the furniture with Torquay United, as well as my other FM19 story, The Head Coach. A massive thanks for watching and continuing to follow the series as always, and we'll see you next time.